The UK property market has just undergone the most significant transformation in decades. And if you own property, are thinking of buying, or have any interest in real estate whatsoever, these changes will directly affect your finances. I'm talking about stamp duty reforms, new landlord tax rules, digital reporting requirements, and fundamental shifts that alter how property works in Britain. Whether you're sitting on hundreds of thousands in property wealth or trying to get on the ladder for the first time, understanding what's changed is absolutely crucial right now. I know property feels complicated enough without constant rule changes. You've probably spent years building equity, paying your mortgage, maybe becoming a landlord, and now the government keeps shifting the goalposts. Let me break down exactly what's changed, what it means for you, and most importantly, what you need to do to protect your financial position. Let's start with stamp duty changes that hit on 1st April 2025. The thresholds that were temporarily raised in 2022 have now dropped back down, and this affects everyone, particularly first-time buyers. Previously, first-time buyers paid zero stamp duty on properties up to £425,000. That threshold has now crashed to £300,000. If you're a first-time buyer purchasing at £350,000, you now pay £6,250 in stamp duty, whereas 6 months ago you'd have paid nothing. For everyone else, the nil-rate ban dropped from £250,000 to £125,000. If you're buying a property worth £400,000, your stamp duty bill jumped from £7,500 to £13,750 overnight. That's an extra £6,250 you need on completion day. For families moving up the ladder or downsizers looking for something smaller, this is a massive additional cost that wasn't there last year. Sandra from Nottingham found this out the hard way. She'd been house hunting throughout 2024, found her perfect retirement bungalow valued at £380,000, but couldn't complete the sale until May 2025. Under old rules, her stamp duty would have been £8,000. Under new rules, she paid £12,750. That's an extra £4,750 she hadn't budgeted for, money that could have gone towards renovations. Now let's talk about changes hitting landlords. Section 24, tax changes phasing in since 2015, are now fully in effect. Previously, landlords could deduct 100% of mortgage interest from rental income before calculating tax. Now you must pay tax on your gross rental income, not profit, and you only get a 20% tax credit on mortgage interest, regardless of your tax band. Here's what this means in practice. If you're a higher rate taxpayer with rental income of £15,000 and mortgage interest of £5,000, you used to pay tax on £10,000 profit at 40%, which was £4,000. Now you pay tax on the full £15,000 at 40%, which is £6,000, then get back a 20% credit on the £5,000 interest, which is £1,000. Your tax bill went from £4,000 to £5,000. You're paying an extra £1,000 in tax on exactly the same income. Timothy from Norwich owns 3 rental properties generating £32,000 yearly. His mortgage interest totals £14,000 annually. As a higher rate taxpayer, his tax bill on rental income increased by over £3,000 per year due to Section 24. He's had to increase rents to cover this additional burden, and he's seriously considering selling one property because the returns no longer justify the hassle and financial exposure. But it gets worse for landlords. From April 2026, making tax digital for income tax comes into force. If your rental income exceeds £50,000 annually, you'll need to keep digital records and submit quarterly updates to HMRC through approved software. That's 4 extra filings per year, plus a 5th annual filing to consolidate everything. The penalty system changes too, with points accumulating for late submissions until you hit an automatic £200 fine. Even if your rental income is between £30,000 and £50,000, you'll need to comply from April 2027. This isn't just extra admin. You'll need accounting software and possibly professional help for quarterly submissions. Compliance costs for small landlords are going up significantly, and many are deciding it's not worth continuing as landlords under these conditions. There's also speculation about potential further reforms. Reports suggest the government is considering replacing stamp duty with an annual proportional property tax tax on homes worth over £500,000, paid by sellers rather than buyers. Under the proposed system, sellers would pay approximately 0.54% annually on the property value above £500,000. A seller with a property worth £650,000 might pay around £810 per year, instead of buyers paying £22,500 upfront stamp duty. Nothing is confirmed, but if this goes ahead, it fundamentally changes property transactions. Sellers in high-value areas, particularly London and the South East, would face ongoing annual costs. Properties worth over £500,000 might become less attractive because the seller is effectively paying an annual wealth tax. The knock-on effects for property values, inheritance planning, and downsizing decisions could be enormous. So what does all this mean for you? If you're planning to buy property soon, understand that stamp duty costs are now significantly higher than 12 months ago. Budget properly. If you're a first-time buyer looking at properties around £300,000, consider whether going slightly under that threshold saves you £6,250 for furnishing or emergency funds. If you're a landlord, get professional advice immediately. Review whether your rental properties still make financial sense under the new tax regime. Calculate your actual returns after Section 24 treatment. If you have multiple properties, consider whether consolidating or selling some makes sense before further tax changes hit. Start preparing for making tax digital now, not in April 2026 when it becomes mandatory. Get records organised, research approved software, and factor additional compliance costs into rental income calculations. If you own expensive property, particularly over £500,000, stay informed about potential property tax reforms. Nothing is definite, but if you're considering selling or downsizing, timing might become important if annual property taxes are introduced. Speak to an estate planning solicitor about how potential changes might affect inheritance tax planning and wealth transfer to the next generation. For everyone, whether you own property or not, understand that the UK property landscape has fundamentally shifted. The days of preferential treatment for property investment are ending. Tax advantages are disappearing. Compliance requirements are increasing. Property is becoming less attractive as an investment compared to ISAs, pensions, and other tax-efficient structures we've discussed before. Sandra wished she'd completed her purchase 3 months earlier. Timothy is restructuring his entire portfolio. These changes are real, they're happening now, and they affect millions of property owners and prospective buyers across the UK. Don't wait until you're caught out by rules you didn't know had changed. If this video helped you understand the massive changes hitting UK property, hit that like button so others can stay informed. Subscribe and turn on notifications because property rules keep changing, and I'll keep you updated with everything you need to know. Thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.